I'll say good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Today is April the 1st, 2023, also Transgender Day of Visibility. And I'm your host of the Saturday service. My name should be somewhere around there, Rabbi Brian. There it says Saturday service. Glad you're here. Quick announcement, we have 111 days until the book launch party, which I'm very much looking forward to. Again, I have no
What's
idea.
the book name?
No
What's the
idea
book
if
name,
the
Adam?
book will be done by then or not, but that has nothing to do with the party. We're going to be.
Does it have a name?
We have a working title of the book. The working title of the book is the highly unorthodox gospel of Rabbi Brian.
Ah,
And the
sounds
subtitle,
promising.
as of right now, is an introduction to religion outside the box. But we will see. Apparently, titles are the last thing you do. So good morning, everyone. Glad everyone's here. As mentioned, today's Transgender Day of Visibility. I am, in a word, exhausted. We flew yesterday from Florida, and due to all of the storms, our plane touched down here in Oregon about 4.5 hours ago. Fortunately,
not much sleep then.
Fortunately, due to really good forethought, I had asked my friend, my very dear friend and a friend of religion outside the box, Afia, if they would run today's service. And I just make a quick little comment on that. And if you listen to my words, I said I'm going to ask my friend Afia if they would run today's service. I have gotten into the habit, and I'm going to especially mention it as Transgender Day of Visibility. I've gotten myself into the habit, and I keep trying to come back to this habit of referring to people unless otherwise specified. I refer to people with they, them pronouns as to be as inclusive as possible. And this way, it was a tip that a transgender person gave me. And they said, look, if you start referring to everyone with they, them pronouns, you don't have to have a special category in your mind for who's which, and you have to make a substitution. So that's a little one that I've been playing with. And that's about it. Afia, are you at the ready?
I think so. Am I intelligible?
You well, we can hear you.
What's up? Yeah.
And
Digitally.
I'm gonna spotlight you there on the screen so people can see you. Thank you so much for running today's service again. I'm here. I'm watching. I'm listening along, but I am not running today's show. Take it away, my dear friend.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm experiencing a residue of a storm. I don't have any power, so I'm in on my phone, which means I can't and I can't see all of you. I'm just looking at myself, and it's very disorienting to be staring. So please be obvious if you have something to share, as it'll help me register, since I don't have the same cues as I normally do.
Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta, on Muskogee territory.
And if I may ask you to have a slight amount of pause between your sentences, as there's a little bit of a delay.
For sure. Thank you for saying that. I was going to start by speaking slowly, like the excerpt.
Uh-oh.
Today is Transgender Awareness, and I sent him the link of an organization based in South Carolina. Give some folks some love. They're called Transgender
Afia,
and they're based in South
Carolina. My dear Afia.
Yeah, Rabbi, do you mind?
I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm going to ask the people people, are you having show me your hand. Are you having a choppy time hearing Afia?
A little bit.
Yes.
Oh, you know what's really great? Not this. We're gonna make something work. Afia, let's try spotlighting you again and see what we can make happen. Alex, would you hit Afia with a spotlight?
She is spotlit.
Okay. Well, hello, my dear people who are not Afia.
I think you need to change your camera view.
I'm gonna change my camera view. I seem to have lost Afia altogether. All right, so here's that thing. How many of you, by a show of hands, have wondered what is Rabbi Brian's nightmare to happen on a Saturday morning? Show of hands if anyone has ever considered.
Sure. I'm curious.
And how many of you would like to see how that plays out?
No, not so much.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I'll tell you a story while I'm gonna tell you a story back in the day. So I'm 28, 29 years old. I'm a newly minted rabbi. I'm working at a congregation in Temple, Judea, in Tarzana, California. We got about 1,250 families who belong, and it's the high holidays. It's the holiest time of the year. It's September. I started the job in July the year previously. And the high holidays are when Jews all come together in the synagogue. Everyone's there. I'm young. I turn, and in the synagogue, everyone is facing, it's a standard. There are rows, and everyone's facing the bima, the altar, and on the back end of the altar is an ark. And in the ark, we have our Torah scrolls. And it's a big ritual that whenever the doors of the ark are opened, everyone has to stand. It would be rude to be seated in front of a Torah scroll when the Torah scroll is exposed. So I go over, it's this main part of the service where I take the Torah scroll down. The Torah scroll, it's a scroll. It's got two long sticks and parchment wound in. I take it down, and the cantor starts singing. Everyone stands up. I walk all the way around the congregation. I walk all the way around the congregation with the Torah scroll. And as is tradition, people take their prayer shawls, or they'll take their prayer book, and they reach out and they touch the Torah scroll and touch it to their lips, because I never did that myself. I thought that was a little bit too idolatrous. So instead, whenever I was in the congregation and I reached out to touch, I always touched whoever was holding the Torah scroll, and I would kiss then. And that made sense to me, that whoever was holding it was holy and a vessel. The scroll itself, that didn't work for me. Anyway, I'm holding the scroll, the cantor singing, walking all the way through. It's like a seventh inning break. Everyone stands up and everyone turns and watches and faces me, because you don't want to turn your back on a Torah scroll. Again, disrespectful. So I make my way up on top of the bima. I put the Torah scroll down. I make a motion with my hands. This, folks, I don't think this would work in this Zoom setting, but if it's a regular congregation and I do this with my hands, I get an entire room of people to stand up. The power, it's incredible. I go like this, and everyone sits down, and I look at the Torah scroll, because now is the portion of the service on Rosh Hashanah where we read from the Torah scroll. We read these ancient Hebrew words. And I've taken the wrong scroll down.
Don't.
And it's like, remember having cassette tapes? And if you wanted to listen to a song at the end of the cassette tape, you had to listen to all the first songs first.
To sit down. So move.
Hold on a second. So I look at it, and the book is in Leviticus, and I need to be in Genesis. And that's a hell of a lot of scrolling to do.
Oh, no.
And I don't know what to do. The scroll I need is behind me. A fancy synagogue, we have more than one scroll. And the one I need, I pulled the wrong one out of the ark. And I lean into the microphone and I say to the group,
Excuse me.
ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you have ever wondered what a rabbi's worst nightmare is. But it looks something like this. It's high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, and you're the rabbi and you picked the wrong Torah scroll out of the ark. So I beg your forgiveness. I'm going to have to ask you to stand, and I ask everyone to stand. I go back, I grab the right scroll, I come back, I put it down, and I conspiratorially come back to the microphone and lean in, and I say, let's not tell the senior rabbi that this happened, okay? Service goes, it's fine from then. It was a wonderful moment where I learned
improv.
I learned people were forgiving, and I told, as soon as services were over, the senior rabbi was running we run more than one service at a time. He was running a service at the auxiliary site. We switched the next way. When he and I are together, I say, Don, oh my gosh, did I mess up? Right? He's the senior rabbi. I'm not going to not tell him. Boy, did I mess up. I took the wrong scroll down. And he goes, oh my God, Brian, I switched the scrolls to make it easier for you. I moved the one down, but I forgot to tell you.
No.
I learned two things. One was that an entire group of people was willing to forgive my humanity. And the second thing I learned was that the senior rabbi, at least unconsciously, might have had it in for me.
Well, did he?
So I say to him, unconsciously, how this played out. I say to him, because the next time he's going to address that same group of people who I made the mistake in front of is going to be on Yom Kippur, on the Day of Atonement. And I say, Don, I think it would be funny if on the Day of Atonement you said to the group, I need to atone for a special transgression I made. And so he does. And I don't know if you're familiar with the story of David and Saul, where Saul is so mad at David, who's not yet king, and he throws a spear at David, but the spear misses because God wanted to protect David. And there was this dynamic that was happening between me and the senior rabbi, and I said to him, apologize to the whole group. I think it will be funny. Well, he apologizes to the group for moving the scroll, and the whole group turned on him. Because I had asked them to keep it a secret. And somehow he found out about it. And I think that I learned then that I wasn't so happy working for him. It was probably the next year where I left that congregation. Anyway, I tell that whole story because, and if you're just joining, I told the whole story because the plan for today's service was I knew I'd be tired today because I just flew in from Florida last night. And due to all the weather issues, our flights were horribly delayed, and I didn't land until 2 o'clock in the morning. So I had asked Afia to run today's service. really good forethought. Unfortunately, she's in Atlanta without electricity, which led me to start this entire story with, have you ever wondered what a rabbi's worst nightmare is? I'm not that worried today.
Rabbi,
Go ahead, I heard a
but
voice there.
it might be still nice. I don't know if I want to say I'm back in the Zoom.
Oh, that's a fear.
Oh, is that you, Afia? Is that 913 number you, Afia?
Yeah, that is Afia.
Oh, well, fantastic. In the meanwhile, I'm going to say I'm not as panicked as I was when I was 29 years old running a service and seeing that I took the wrong Torah scroll
Can you
down.
hear me?
Ah, there you are. Hello, Afia.
Hi, I'm coming in and out. Like I can.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to say thank you for preparing a beautiful service. But it's not something that we're going to be able to do today. So fortunately, I do have I have half of next week's service planned. We're going to do that half. And then we're going to do the other half. Okay. So good morning and thank you all for being here. And thank God I'm older than I was and this is not panicking me. And I give all of you credit for that as well, which is I know that you all are forgiving. And it makes it so much easier. We talked, and just a quick flashback to a few weeks ago when we talked about shame. And we said shame happens when we realize the environment we are in does not have enough love in it. Shame happens when we realize the environment we're in doesn't have enough love for us to truly be ourselves, to just be authentically ourselves. And two points on that. One, I know that in this group, you will all have enough love in it and have enough love for me that I don't need to feel shame that this service is going to go a little bit off the walls. And the second part on the shame, I'm going to underscore the Transgender Day of Visibility, is to consider what it's like to live in a world where there's not enough love for you to feel allowed to be authentically yourself. And if we take that in for a moment, I think we get a fuller sense of how important it is to be supportives, to be allies. There's a website there. If you have, this was Afia's words from our planning, if you have $5 extra this week that you want to send to a good cause, take a look. Right up there is taagg.org. It's so to please do. All right.
Not readable.
And let me find the quote I have there. Okay. Before I do that, let me just share gallery view with everybody watching on Facebook. I see there's some people who are following along on Facebook. Good morning, Sherry. Glad you're here. And then my friend Scott just posted a few things as well. Thank you, Scott. Oh, wait, he said, it would be awesome if when I lower my hands, everyone would shrink out of frame. So I think that's a brilliant enough idea. So I'm going to ask the congregation to please sit at this time. Can you guys all just shrink down in your seats? Come off the camera there. There we go. Okay, and everyone please rise. Look at that. Thank you, Scott, for the absolutely insane idea. And good morning to Juan. Thank you guys for all joining on Facebook, and thank you guys who are all here on Zoom. Bob, you have a question, a comment?
I happen to notice that we have another person that is joining us here, in that Emily seems to have a friend or somebody that is on with her, and I just wanted to give that some recognition.
Well, good morning, Emily's. Are you a beloved of Emily's?
I am.
Well, glad.
This is her daughter. This is Rebecca, my daughter.
Good morning. Oh, are you Rebecca who made the challah?
No, that's Karen.
Oh,
Karen
I like you better, Rebecca.
Oh,
Good. Well, thank you.
I won't tell Karen.
Thank you. Let's just keep that a secret in this congregation. And I have a comment here from Sherry, and then we'll move to today. Sherry says, too many of us transgendered individuals live with shame. With laws being passed in many states, things won't get better for a long time. I'm glad to be here too. Well, we're glad that you are here. And gosh, shame. Here, what can we do to fight shame? I think you all know the answer to that one, but I'd love to hear it. Go ahead, Rita. You have something to add.
Yes, the link that you have there for to learn more about it is totally unreadable. Could you put it in the chat
I'm gonna make that a little
or something else?
bigger. There we go. So that should be a little more visible.
Yes.
And
Let's see.
if somebody would put it in the chat as well,
Ah,
I would
that's way
appreciate
better.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank
You
you.
need to mark. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so
good.
here is next week's service a week early. You all ready for this? Here I go. There's a quote by Hafiz. I'm gonna put on the screen. I don't have it except in this format, so give me 1 second. Again, this is next week's service, so here's this beautiful quote by Hafiz, and it says this. It says, at first, the fish needs to say, something ain't right about this camel ride, and I'm feeling so damn thirsty. First, the fish needs to say, something ain't right about this camel ride, and I'm feeling so damn thirsty. I'm going to read it one more time. First, the fish needs to say, something ain't right about this camel ride, and I'm feeling so damn thirsty. Show of hands, how many of us are the fish?
Oh,
How many of us are the fish?
right now.
Yeah. That we know just something ain't right about this camel ride, and I'm feeling so damn thirsty. Let's talk about this camel ride that we're on, folks. What's wrong with this camel ride? Please, let's not go literal. What's wrong with the camel ride you're on?
It's not taking me where I want to go.
Aha, thank you, Ray. It's not taking me where I want to go. Where is this camel ride taking you? And where do you want?
Into a dry, barren, unfeeling world.
Ah, something ain't right about this camel ride. This camel ride is unfeeling.
And it's unplanned.
Unplanned. I'm going to add unpleasant.
Uh-huh.
What else is wrong with this camel ride?
I don't remember getting on it.
I'm going to say unplanned. Involuntary. What else is wrong with this camel ride? Where's this camel ride leading us?
It's not taking us home.
Give me some other words we could fill in there instead of home. This camel ride is taking us further from home. It's taking us further from
Love.
peace.
It's taking us further from love. It's taking us
And-
further from peace.
Where I belong.
Ah, I love that. First, the fish needs to say something ain't right about this camel ride. Folks, tell me what ain't right about this camel ride. This camel ride is taking us further from home, further from peace, further from love, further from belonging.
It's lumpy.
It's unpleasant. It's lumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Something ain't right about this camel ride. This camel ride is filled with hate.
Mm.
What?
Hate.
Filled with hate.
Camel ride's filled with hate. What else ain't right about this camel ride? The grammar. I know it shouldn't use the word ain't. How dare it?
Jesus.
But in its behalf, it's a talking fish. So, you know, it's communicating. What else ain't right about this camel ride?
The camel ride is motivated by fear, which comes out as being hate.
I'm going to add in another word there.
Oh, yeah.
Something ain't right about this camel ride. Folks, what's wrong with our society?
Oh, I thought you meant the camel.
What's wrong about this? I'm feeling so damn thirsty. What are you thirsting for, my dear beloved people? What are you thirsting for?
Justice.
Justice.
Kindness.
Kindness.
I'm also thinking the ignorance of the camel.
Oh, right. The camel's just doing its thing. It's
Yeah,
not
it's not
malicious.
Mindless.
Camel, does the camel even know that it's got a fish on its back?
No.
It's unconscious.
Does a camel, like I'm thinking of a caravan, there's one person who's leading this, right?
Mm.
The camel is not going off on its own.
It's not, right. Camels aren't just nomadic. At first the fish needs to say something ain't right about this camel ride. It's unfeeling. It's going towards hatred, fear, greed, unplanned, unconscious, unpleasant, lumpy, involuntary, led by somebody. We don't know who's leading this camel ride. At first, the fish has got to say something just ain't right about this camel ride, and I'm feeling so damn thirsty. I was thinking this. Go ahead.
What's stopping the fish from getting off the camel and jumping into a beautiful stream? I mean, the fish has some responsibility in this ride.
Yes, thank you, Anne. Thank you. Yeah. The fish. I think that's the word first. The fish first has to go, oh, shit. That how long have so many of us not done that first realization that something ain't right about this camel ride? Where we just say, it's all right. We're fine. It's like we don't even think about the fact that we're a fish on a camel ride. The hell are we doing?
The leader of the camel ride, though, is going to make damn sure we get nowhere near any water.
Oh, you gotta. Well, I don't. It's kind of like a Rorschach there, John. I don't know. We know the motives of the camel driver. It might be that. the camel driver might also be thinking, oh, I got to get this precious cargo to the aquarium. We don't know what their mindset is. Here's where I want to go with this. First, the fish needs to say something ain't right about this camel ride. That's us. And the first step, and we talked about this when we talked about dealing with impossible people, the first step is realizing, is this something we want to do? So let me ask you, my little fishy friends, are you okay on this camel ride? Or do you want to see if we can't find some better accommodations?
I found out that they're stopping Americans at the border to Canada.
The Canadians have put up a border now. They don't want us. We're unloved.
Unless we're on a camel.
Yeah.
Why are we stopping you? I don't.
Too many Americans now want to leave the great new United States.
Yeah.
Yes, but I haven't heard that we're stopping.
Okay.
Where did
I heard that they were stopped at the border near Ontario.
It's one border stop that doesn't have any, that's getting people crossing illegally, and there has been some danger to them because of them sneaking across and getting hurt and sometimes dying.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're
If you're a
stopping,
fish,
they're trying to.
if you're a fish and you want to get off the camel, where do you go?
Right. So that's a great question. I'm going to answer that, Carol. I'm going to say where we need to go.
within?
Well, I'm not going to say it anymore because now you got the right answer. There's only one thing we can do. If we're feeling that we live in a world that doesn't have enough love, doesn't have enough kindness, doesn't have enough belonging, doesn't have enough of what we want, and it has too much of things we don't want, there's guaranteed. Here's my example. If I change my name to Robert, there will be one more person named Robert in the world. Statistically, not a huge number, not a huge increase, but there will be one more person named Robert in the world. If I live my life with more love, with more peace, with more belonging, with more justice, with less greed, with less fear, with less hate, there's going to be a little bit more water for the fish. Yeah? We got to this tool again.
So is it, in a sense, is it sort of up to the fish to try to correct the path, or the path of the camel, or the direction of the camel?
Well, so the only thing we get from Hafiz is the thing that the fish does first. Is first the fish needs to say something ain't right. It's admitting we have a problem. Nothing's going to happen until we admit there's a problem. Hafiz doesn't continue to say, and then I'll get you in a second, Betsy. Hafiz doesn't say, and second, the fish needs to. All we get from Hafiz is first. First, we need the awareness. Go ahead, Betsy.
I don't know if this is the second or the third, but maybe the fish needs to realize that he's not just a fish, he's also a camel, and he's also a leader of a caravan.
You got a metaphysical fish. Yeah.
But in the life of other fish,
is that the fish realizes that it's not without agency. The fish realizes that first the fish needs to realize something ain't right. Next, the fish has to realize I'm not helpless. There's something I can do. Pick one. You, whoever I'm talking to. If you think I'm not talking to you, you're wrong. I'm talking to you. Every one of you.
Love.
Pick one of the things that you want to bring more into the world. I don't care
Love.
which one it is. Just pick it, lock it in, get one of these words in your head. And here's a little Rabbi Brian. Here's a little insight into my life. I heard this trick a long time ago, and it goes like this. When I'm at a restaurant, as I was yesterday, and I open the menu, and it's one of those menus, and it's got 4,700 things on it. As soon as I find the first thing that I think would be good, I say, that's it. I'm going to order that, and I close my menu, and I stop looking. And that keeps me from having post-decisional dissonance. It keeps me from being regretful. I want you to just pick one of these things that you want more of, or one of these things you want less of. Just pick one. It doesn't matter which one it is. You're just going to keep that one.
Mm-hmm.
You got one? Everyone have one in mind?
Yep.
I think this is going to work. Might not. We'll find out. I think we should be able to fill this chart in, everyone using their own word. It should still fit in this chart. This chart is if we are to change, delta being the Greek letter symbolizing change, if we are to change and have more of this thing that we want in our lives, we would all get peace, happiness, love. We would get these things that we're talking about. What would we lose if you were to go out into the world and you were to go out into the world and bring more of whatever word it was you want to bring?
We just have to run to Costco. Yeah. Are you good?
What is it that you are going to lose? What current reality benefit do you have that you would have to give up? When we first learned this little trick, we called this the mermaid. And we talked about if you got the pot of gold, not everyone knows this little fact, but mermaids are allergic to gold. So if you changed and you have more of this thing you want, you're going to lose this thing you currently have. If you were to get more blank, you're going to lose this thing you currently have. Can someone help me out with a word that would fit in this box? Am I way too in the... Okay, wait, let me do
The whole constellation of our society, you would be isolated.
Yeah. I'm making up a word. Groupness.
I was going to suggest putting the word friends in quotation marks.
Friends.
In
I love
quotation.
this. This is perfect. I was worrying that we might not be tracking, but if we were to get more of these things that we want, we run the risk of losing our friends, our group, our current group. If you're the
And also,
fish,
also power.
we might lose power.
Yeah. Unearned advantage.
I'm going to leave that one with power. Well, no, that was just because I was worried about spelling. I got it. Unearned advantage. Can you say a little more, Maria?
Well, privilege,
Yeah.
which is unearned advantage.
Yeah, that's the word. If we were to do this thing and bring more justice in the world, we might have to put ourselves back in the line and lose some of our unearned privilege. We might lose some of our unearned advantage. Yeah, Anne?
If I were a billionaire, I might have to be satisfied being only a multimillionaire.
Right.
Because I would share, and then I would no longer be a billionaire.
These camel riders. He's about
Right.
3
We
feet.
might lose some security that we currently have.
I'd say I'd lose some cynicism.
Thank you, Melissa. If we were to gain these things, we would have to lose our inner cynic. Who doesn't actually enjoy the warm, oozy fun of being cynical? First, the fish needs to say something ain't right about this camel ride. I'm feeling so damn thirsty. Can we give the next sentence off of this? First, the fish has to say something ain't right about this camel ride. I'm feeling so damn thirsty, and I'm willing to give up the camel ride. I'm willing to give up my comfort, my current comfort. It might be a camel ride, but I'm used to it.
And it's better than walking across the desert.
Right. At least I got a camel. How about this one over here? If I were to do this, I might have a new problem I never had before. If I were to be more loving, more kind, more peaceful, I might have a problem I never had before. I'm going to add one.
Can't see that.
Oh, I wrote quiet.
Quiet.
It might be really quiet. If I lose my current friends, I lose my cynicism, I might have a new problem of quiet.
Brian,
John?
I'm looking at your chart and seeing, okay, if I make the change, like all the stuff that you've put in that crossed out delta under the plus, it seems to me they all belong over where you are right now in the negative.
The happy, the love, the peace?
All the things that we would give up.
Oh, these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they all belong over in the negative.
Yeah.
And
so
I think things got switched a little bit because he was up until very late last night.
Oh, I might have put these in the wrong spot.
That's what I think, because where you accumulated that is those are the positives of not changing.
Correct.
So those ones belong up in the negative. The positives of not changing are very different from those.
Well, I think it's the other side. It's the other side of the pancake, if you will.
I will.
Here's the pancakes we have. You turn it over. It's just the other side.
Please forgive me if my boxing's in the wrong pancake. Thank you, Ray, for keeping it that way. Let me see if we can't finish this sentence in a different way. At first, the fish needs to say, something ain't right about this camel ride. I'm feeling so damn thirsty. And we're saying, and then second, the fish needs to evaluate, is it worth changing?
Sometimes we don't know whether it's positive or negative. Not saying we can't figure it out, but we don't always know.
So first the fish needs to realize there's a problem, and then the fish needs to wonder, do I leap? This is going to be, now I have a flying fish on a camel, but that's fine. Do I take a leap of faith? And I think there's only one answer to that. I'm a big fan that awareness is, in a sense, curative. Once you realize there's a problem, I had a professor, Dr. Kravitz, who used to say, you can't poke out your eyes and claim there's never been any light.
I love Kravitz.
He was in my top 3 favorite professors.
Yes, Martin.
First, the fish needs to say something ain't right about this camel ride. I'm feeling so damn thirsty. Second, the fish needs to
Make a leap of faith.
make a leap of faith. So
That's scary.
It is scary.
And I think we have to realize we are the fish and really take seriously that all these things that we've been seeing and not taking seriously are really signs that we are on the wrong camel.
Folks, what Carol just said, we're on the wrong camel. I'm going to preach this a little obnoxiously, and it might hit a bone, might hit a nerve. Stop ordering shit from Amazon. It's the wrong camel, my friends. Stop hoarding things and stop. Stop gossiping. Stop talking shit about the people you don't like. That's the wrong camel. It's the wrong camel, and you know it is. Can we all make a 1-week commitment? Pick something, pick a camel to get off of. Pick one of your habits of some camel ride that you've gotten too comfortable on and choose to not be on that camel ride for the next week. All right? Willing? Give me a nod or a no. I don't care either way. Willing to? Let's try it. Maria, my friend, I think you have a list of people we want to say some prayers for.
I do.
Would you be so kind?
These are the names of people to lift up and send positive energy to. Rita S., Elizabeth and Ron, Francis, April, Jill, Iggy, and Steve, Mumford, Pat, Stephanie, Wendy, and Krista, Maudie's brother and Sammy, the Cook family, Beverly Kennedy, Greta, Kat and Paul, Sandy, Bill, and Karen, Greg, Michael Riback and Dan Shapiro, Barry and Miriam, the victims of the Mass Casualty Commission, the 8 who drowned in Quebec and the police force who found them, Wayne, Tamana, the churches and congregations within the United Church of Christ, and let's send protective love and light to the transgender community all around the world. And if there is another person in our community we can offer light and love to, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list in the clubhouse. And for the people who aren't named, but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Now let's take a minute of silence starting now.
They're praying for transgender people now.
All right, my friends, thank you for the minute. few other announcements. One other announcement. Tomorrow, if you've not ever joined me for doing so, tomorrow I'm going to be making matzah according to a recipe from 1503. It is a delicious matzah. It's got honey and pepper in it. It's more the consistency of a strudel than traditional matzah that comes out tasting like cardboard. And if you come tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific or 2 p.m. Pacific, if somebody would be so kind as to put that into the chat, I'll do it. lu.ma/matzah 2023. You're all invited to join there. We're going to do, let me just take a moment, look at all your faces. Hello, faces.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this instead. You don't know what the first thing was, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to make a wish for you. I'm going to make a wish for you. Take a look at all the people on the screen. When I look at all the people on the screen, I know something, and I'm going to wish that you have the same feeling that I have. When I look at the faces of all the people on the screen, I know that all of these people are willing to forgive my trespasses, are willing to put up with, oh, I know I said I wasn't going to drop the F-bomb, and then I did for a few weeks again. And I know that the people on the screen are going to forgive me that technology has gone wrong and the regularly scheduled service just could not happen as it was meant to. I look at all the people on the screen and I know the opposite of shame. And I want you to take a moment and look at the people who are on the screen. And yeah, I'm special. I have a hat and a title. Good for me. But the people on the screen love you too. And we're going to, Alex, can we do a 5-minute random friendship? We're going to do 5 minutes. You're going to get broken into a room with 5 to 6 other people. And just take a moment to appreciate each other for a random room. And if you're stuck, if you're on a phone, you're going to get automatically moved into a room. Otherwise, you have to accept that room. Alex, let's move people into those rooms for 5 minutes, shall we?
We're open.
The rooms are open. You're being whisked away.
Whisk.
The whisking ain't happening over here yet.
No.
There it is.
There we go.
Whisk yourselves away for 5 minutes. Which leaves me talking with you who's on Facebook and you who's on YouTube. I see you there. I don't see you, but it gives me a little indication that you're here. And if you're watching after the fact, I don't know that you're doing that. Make a comment, would you? Put a comment in the window so I know that you're there. I just realized something about the camel ride. There's something about this camel ride that just ain't right, which is rushing. We're all on a camel ride that's called rushing, trying to get more done, be more productive. But there's something ain't right about this camel ride. And that's this whole idea of a Sabbath. That's what, if I weren't me, I could say that's what this rabbi is here trying to tell us about, is taking some time off from rushing. So let's not rush. That being said, ironically, Alex, how long do I have in my 5-minute rooms?
We have 3 minutes 15 seconds.
That's good. And you'll give them when it comes down to 1 minute. Give them.
Yeah, 2 minutes and change till I issue the call back.
Yeah, can you do it so that the 5 minutes, give the last minute is taken off of the? Am I making sense? I don't think I'm making sense.
I can either call them back at the 4 minute mark, which gives them a 1 minute warning.
That one. That's the one I was trying to get to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, normally however many minutes you say to set, I set my timer for 1 minute less than that and call them back.
N-1.
N-1, yes.
Good. Well, Lexi and Candace and Melissa, I know y'all are still on this part of the screen. We're all going to be coming back in a minute. If any of you have something you want to say, feel free to, but you don't have to. Oh. And then I'm going to take a nap because I'm really tired.
I don't blame you, and you are not the only one that was up late last night and up early this morning. So
they got you too, Alex.
Yeah. The things not going to plan.
Yeah,
Gremlin.
Somewhere between a snafu and what was my other one?
Fubar.
Fubar. That was my other one. Fubar's got a little extra special to it.
Well, you're so tired and things have gone so poorly. I'm not going to tell you my April Fool's thing that I was going to tell you, but then I decided I'm not going to because it would just be mean at this point.
Melissa asked Alex if you could move Melissa back to the room. But we're going to be bounced out of that in a moment anyhow.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah, thank Heather who just made a beautiful little post there. May this overlapping time of Passover, Holy Week, and Ramadan, they don't all three always happen at the same time, bring us strength to be kinder, stronger in faith, that this world reminds us of, that I remind you of, and laughter with the joy of life. Yeah, those, I'm going to add that one in too, Heather. I'm going to add that one in too. Seriousness and hurry. Those are two really not cool people.
Okay, we got about 13 seconds before everybody can.
I see it there. Thank you so much, Alex.
Anybody want to sign a contraction?
Contrasting. Yeah.
Well, welcome back, dear ones. We're coming.
Brian, can I do a quick observation, please?
Go for it.
Very early, before you started, you made the blanket observation, and it stuck with me. I was going to react to it at the time, but never got a chance. You said you were feeling flat. I heard that, and I think I felt what was behind it. You've done an amazing job this morning of pushing through your flat feeling to engage us and to make this morning happen. Well done and congratulations.
Yeah, really.
Well,
Very
thank
good.
you. Thank you, John. Thank you all. I'm gonna take that compliment in.
Again, go take a nap.
And I'm going to take a nap, but I want to give two charges that came in while you guys were in the smaller groups. One, there are two other camels that I realized that we're on. We're on the camel of rushing. We're in a hurry, and we need to be the fish that say, no, there are roses to smell, and my rushing is not aiding and not helping. And the other camel that we're on, without realizing it, is the camel of seriosity.
What's that mean?
Being overly too serious.
Okay.
We're on the camel ride of this is all dire.
Ah, okay.
And I suggest that we be the fish who say, something ain't right about this. And let's make a stand and say, I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to take this too seriously. Okay, that all being said, thank you all for joining. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to take a nap.
Thanks again, Brian.